So I made these two problems to demonstrate two different ways to use the least common denominator. With this one, what you can do is find the least common denominator. The denominators are 4 and 8 and x. So you look at all the fractions, find the least common denominator. Well, with a 4 and an 8, you would need an 8. Since this one has x, the least common denominator is equal to 8x. So then what you do is, let me just rewrite it a little bit bigger. So then what you do is you look at the four terms, 2 on top and 2 on bottom. You look at the four terms, you multiply them all by 8x. Okay, then reduce. So this one is going to be 24x. Another important thing with compound or complex fractions, in other words when there's fractions inside of fractions, is that you keep that main fraction bar very obvious, that it's big, and then you've got room to work on the top and room to work on the bottom. Okay, so this first one is simply a 24x. Over here, the x will cancel the x. All that's left behind is 2 times 8 is 16. Then, for this one, the 4 will divide into the 8 2 times. So there's a 2, an x times an x. That's 2x squared. And then over here, the 8 will cancel the 8, so there's just a 1 times x. The good thing about this is it's been simplified and we don't have to do anything else. It's basically this one step that does all the work if you're using the least common denominator. All right, now here's another way to use the least common denominator, to add two fractions. So you look at these two, and with x plus 3 and x minus 3, that actually is going to be the least common denominator. You then have to get both denominators the same. So that means this one needs to be multiplied on the top and the bottom by x minus 3. This one needs to be multiplied on the top and the bottom by x plus 3. So this one is x minus 3 times 1, so that's just x minus 3. And at that point I don't need the parentheses anymore. And then this, I'm going to go ahead and just rewrite it in parentheses and not multiply it out. This one has the same denominator, x plus 3, x minus 3, or x minus 3, x plus 3. The order doesn't matter. And then this one is times 2, so you need to distribute. So 2x plus 6. Now that they have the common denominator, you can rewrite it as one fraction with x plus 3 times x minus 3 is the denominator. And then combine like terms, so there's 2x plus an x is 3x. And then there's a negative 3 and a positive 6, so 6 minus 3 is 3. And then the reason that I didn't multiply out the bottom is because the top could be factored, and it didn't happen in this case. It almost did, but it didn't happen in this case. But what can happen is you factor the top, like I factored out a 3, and it could happen that this is the same as this, and then they would cancel. This one, it was close, but it's not exactly the same, so they can't cancel.